So, we are going to be talking about something that has come up in every single assignment and has definitely been the central theme of the entire term. Hopefully most of you know what I'm talking about or what I'm going to say. It starts with a W, and it's weight. Because that is the thing that we're after. If you can get convincing weight in your animation, you're well on your way to just having good, solid mechanics, whether it's a bouncing ball or something more complicated. And here again, we're going to be dealing with a 90 or 180 degree turnaround with the character. Moving the weight convincingly just adds this realism and believability to your character that is really what kind of we're after. And without it, you'll always be lacking something in your animation that it won't connect with the viewer as much, and it just won't seem as plausible. It'll draw attention to itself that something's wrong. You know, the casual viewer might not be able to pinpoint exactly what it is, but they will definitely know that something doesn't feel right, and character doesn't feel grounded, their environment doesn't feel convincing. And the sort of key to that whole thing is the weight, and getting that weight, how you move it around, how you shift it, doing that in a believable way really just kind of like ties everything together and really helps sell the world, sell gravity, sell the character's weight, sell their mass, their density. Everything that we've talked about, you know, has all been about making sure that the characters feel like they weigh what they should. You know, and hopefully now you guys are starting to get some sort of idea of how you do that. You know, using all the combinations of things that we've learned so far, all the principles. It's the how you mix them, how you take a little bit of this, how you use your timing and your spacing to get different effects weight-wise. Your arcs, how that can help play into it. How much anticipation you need before you move in a different direction. You know, how much anticipation, how much energy do you need to build up before you can shift this body or this mass to get it moving. All those sorts of things help sell weight. So what we're going to be looking at is a turn. Sounds simple. I'm sure, you know, as you guys all thought, the walk cycle sounded simple the same way the chain stuff sounded, but you know, the devil is in the details, and it's not as easy as you might think. There's a lot of stuff going on, you know, whether it be in the hips and the body, shifting the weight, how that works with the feet, your ability to pick a foot up off the ground. All these sorts of things play into it, and you need to get them all working together to make the action possible. So, what are some of the elements that help sell weight? In this example, it's really not only weight that we're after, but it's also balance. If we look at this initial frame of me standing here, if we look at my hips, and again, you can think of this as Mr. Legs from here down. The fact that one of my legs is a little bent while the other one is straight shows that I'm kind of supporting a little bit more of my weight on this leg. You know, that's one indicator. And it's things like this that you should be looking out for when you're analyzing video to figure out what's going on. So if we have a character, if we have Mr. Legs, and he's standing there. Now his weight is directly lined up in between his feet. There's equal amounts of pressure being applied to each leg. It's very balanced. When your weight is balanced and each foot is engaged, you can't just pick one foot up off the ground. It's not going to happen. So what you need to do is you shift your weight over to one leg. If I shift him over so that one leg becomes the supporting thing and then pick one foot up, his center of mass is now more in line with this foot. He's shifted over this way, and his weight is nicely lined up now with this foot. And what that does is it frees up this whole other side of the body to move around. Once you shift the weight over to one foot, the other foot is totally free to be lifted up off the ground. And that's sort of the key to being able to move around, is the way you move your weight from one leg to the other. The point is, if you want to pick this leg up, you need to shift the weight over so that this foot is now fully in the supporting role and it's propping everything up. So If we look at this same pose, if you were to just keep it how we had it before, but just pick this foot up off the ground, that is not the same thing. Before we shifted the weight over this foot to get support. If you just pick this foot up off the ground, in the real world, you can't stand up and do it, but again, in Maya, what's to stop you? There's nothing to stop you. There's no alarm that's going to go off that says like, no, I'm a supporting foot, you can't move me. It's not going to happen. It's going to let you do whatever you want. So that means you're free to make all the mistakes that you want, and to break all the rules that you want. So in this case, the weight is still directly in between where the feet were. Nothing is really supporting them. This foot is too far out to the side. This one's not on the ground. So what would happen in this situation? This guy would just go and he would be lying on the ground, sad and broken. So he would just topple over. So the key really is making sure that you have balance. If you want your character to stand with their weight shifted onto one leg, you need to make sure that that weight is actively being supported by that leg.